Today's focus is earnings preview and new news on our plan to buy over the next calendar year-ish 100,000 vehicles from Tesla. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, would like some better ideas on investing and trading, please join us on Patreon. As you see behind me, we have our Semi, which I think is a big part of Tesla's future in terms of how this recovery is going to actually occur. So today, the first part I'd like to review is, well, what's my earnings preview? As you know, over the last 4 quarters, each quarter we've had kind of the same thing happen. Namely, Tesla's been cutting prices, so therefore we have lower margins. The price cuts were designed to boost sales, and we saw some decent sales boosts in the first couple of quarters, but since then we've started seeing a plateauing, and then on this quarter we actually saw a decline in the value of Tesla shares. So as you know, Tesla's unusual in that they separate earnings announcement as well as production numbers. The production numbers were late by, I think, 2 days this round. What we learned from those production numbers, as you know, was we had an 8.5% decline in revenue for the quarter, or number of vehicles sold primarily. So we're now in the zone, as you know, where the earnings and profit results that are coming in are going to be reflective of that decline in revenue. So I think it's a pretty clear indication of the direction of things. The next thing to consider is that, as you know, Tesla smashed right through 150, heading for 140 a share today. And it clearly is sort of a negative view of where things are going on the stock price. And I think, all the signals are there for where we're going to be. I'd have to say that the one benefit that I see coming out that has not been discussed is that the cost of batteries, particularly lithium, has dropped, but the other elements of the batteries, I believe, are going to be down because demand has dipped as well. So I think there's a possibility of some positive news that gives us a sideways movement and possibility of upward, but as you know, and you can see with the stock price, things are kind of in a tough shape right now. And I'm, there's a number of things happening right now. I have to admit that I'm a little bit excited, hopeful, based on the vehicle you see behind me. The Semi is in an interesting position right now because there was reticence by Elon to start rolling them out in large numbers, despite having long lists of customers waiting. And no, they can't produce, more than 5 or 10, maybe 20 vehicles a week. But the battery packs are now available for that vehicle to start rolling out. And I think that would definitely make a difference to have Elon make a move towards starting to produce that vehicle in larger numbers. Now, for our thumbnail for this, I'm actually going to be using the new Semi. So Tesla developed a truck that actually moves. The one entity that's been getting more semis as they're being produced in small numbers is the internal facility at Tesla. What are they doing with those new semis? The answer is they just built a new 5-vehicle carrier off the back of the Semi that allows them for vehicles. So in Fremont, we have sort of, let's call it 4 destinations for vehicles. Number one is there's an export facility or port of either Oakland or San Francisco that the vehicles may go if there's a car carrier there, a ship. Number 2 is there's a train that moves vehicles fairly close from the manufacturing plant in Fremont. Number 3, we do have trucks that are going sort of individual locations in the greater Bay Area into Southern California. So those are kind of the destinations for vehicles coming out of Fremont and methods by which they're moved. And so what we now have happening is the new car carrier that's been developed for the Tesla Semi is going to those destinations. The question mark, though, on this thing is that, as you'll notice, there are only 5 vehicles on the back of that vehicle. And unless it's a very large vehicle, typically 10 Teslas will ride on a regular diesel semi. So it's unclear to me how efficiency-wise it's going to work to move large numbers of vehicles on a carrier that only carries 5 vehicles, but I guess the logic is there and we'll see it happening. The next thing I wanted to review is for the last, let's say, 5 or 6 years, I've had a business plan we put together targeting buying mostly skateboards, but some finished Tesla products to actually be used in different ways than we currently see Tesla in motion. For example, one destination we've been working on is talking with the folks in the greater South Bend area of Indiana regarding sort of the mobile home market as one place that hasn't seen much electric vehicles of late, primarily because heavy vehicle, your battery work has to be excellent in order to have that iteration of vehicle occur. So what I wanted to share is that we've got a business plan together, and what we're doing is we're actually, buying Tesla or Tesla skateboards and moving into other markets for the vehicle. And so, right now where we're at, we've got some board seats available. We're saying more as we get more forward with this, but I'd have to say the goal is to purchase between 50 and 100,000 vehicles this year. And then over the next 2 years, the goal is to get into the double-ish numbers. So I think in 25 to 26, we end up at about 200,000 Teslas purchased and implemented. So I think that it's available to be done. We've had some general conversations with out customers / manufacturers, and there's a lot of positivity about how this is going to occur. And as you know, we have our email address down below. If you want to drop us a line, if there's interest, we're happy to, start conversations. We'll probably end up with a friends and family round and ABC as is typical for startups. But my hope / goal is that we could trigger a process where Tesla starts rolling pretty strong heavily based on the increased demand represented by the vehicles we need. The other thing I'd like to ask is I have direct and indirect contacts with Tesla. We've tried the phone call routine. We've talked with, we have some friends who are part of the Tesla effort, no longer so the case, but it'd be great to link up with sort of management and see. My hope is Elon doesn't want to write it all the way down, but our goal is to try to buy as many vehicles as are not being sold, and then using that production in different ways to get vehicles out there that people want to have and will be very happy with. At any rate, that's the end of our formal Tesla discussion. I think tomorrow's going to be a very tough day, the 23rd of April, when earnings numbers come out. But I think that there's a bunch of things happening that are positive for the company that end up rolling off the seas and end up with some good results going forward. Finally, we'd like to again review our health tips. So I wanted to today get back into the whole issue of your kidneys and the impact of meat every day. So I'm really working on pre-made salads that you would get at your grocery store, etc., as a way to help with a healthy transition into more non-meat days each week. I'm supposed to be doing 3 non-meat days at least. I'm actually up to probably 2.5, and really working hard to get to that third as I find sort of an eating regimen that I think is healthy enough to stay in good shape with. I'd have to say I'm also impressed by being able to eat a lot of salad type directional things and not gaining a lot of weight doing so. So that's kind of nice as well. So bottom line is that the addition I wanted to make to that conversation of kidney impact of large amounts of meat is to notice that if you're in my family, you're doing a number one is what we call in our family. You'll notice that if you're seeing sort of frothiness to the urine that goes to the toilet, you know that your kidneys are actually telling you that there might be a problem that you want to take some time to address in the process of your eating. Any rate, so obviously your general practitioner would be good, and you may want to go on and maybe read a few things on YouTube. We also have a number of other health recommendations down low, so please join us there as well. We'd appreciate it if you join us on Patreon. Finally, I just wanted to note that I just want to encourage you guys as we're in this tough period to make sure you do some hedging. Um, the downward trend is we've dropped 30 points in basically the last 2 weeks or so. And based on the pace of the trend and the pace, something in the 110, 120 zone seems to be the destination prior to us starting to gain footing again. And therefore, I think that, hedging your portfolio somewhat might not be a bad idea because it'll enable you to maintain. Just be aware again, if you own shares and you bought puts, the value of the puts will rise as your shares fall. And so if you're a heavy owner, you may want to put up, a decent slug, at least, 10, 20% of your portfolio in puts, because it'll enable you to weather this current storm and still hold your shares. And that way, once Tesla recovers, you'll be in great shape. Any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, au revoir, lehithro, hoda hafez, zdravstvuyte, ni hao ma, kambanwa, heido, zdravstvuyte, I've already said that one, namaste. And in Jamaica, we say enough respect, walk, good man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now.